Okay, awesome. Hey, everybody, this is Colson-Eyre, and I'm coming to you live from Valdosta, Georgia. And it is our Sunday night Boss Babe call. But we are so excited that we have a special treat tonight. I have a very special friend and a special guest that's going to be speaking to us tonight. And so I'm just so thankful for her to take out just really an hour out of the holiday weekend to do this for us. And she is a top director, and I'm gonna read her accolades, but we have we call it our secret private boxer group that is just for people that have won the top director trip. And so at the beginning of May, she put a little post on there and told her story about what she has done. And I'm like, I would love for my people to get to hear that story. So I'm not going to spoil everything, but I am going to read a little bit about her and just a little bit of her accolades before she speaks. And so thank you guys for joining us on YouTube. Thank you for joining us live on Zoom. And when we get done, we're going to have time for just a few questions as well. Okay, so thank you guys so much. All right. So Katherine Ward is her name. Katherine has been married to Todd for 18 years and started Mary Kay 18 years ago to get out of $110,000 in credit card debt. 4.5 years later, it was all paid off with her Mary Kay. Okay, that I don't really need to say anything else, right? But I will. Okay. When she started, she quit her 6-figure pharmaceutical job, and 22 days later, she went into DIQ, which is director qualification, and was on target for a free car. 4 months into her business, she became a director and earned her first director level free car. 9 months later, she was driving her first pink Cadillac. And of course, we say free, but what we mean is earned card. You know, she earned the use of this car from Mary Kay. I still like to say free myself. Her check on her 1-year anniversary was her first check. Her check on her 1-year anniversary with the company. So she had been in Mary Kay 1 year, was $10,200. So like if you're sitting there thinking, I wonder if I can really make money at this. Okay, she's going to give us a little plan here. Her highest month in commission was $19,142, and she's now earned over $1.3 million so far on her Mary Kay journey. I would say she made a good decision. She's also earned 11 free cars, 7 pink Cadillacs, a 3-carat diamond ring with 70 diamonds, a 3-carat diamond ring with 159 diamonds, a diamond bumblebee pin, a 3.7-carat diamond ring with 257 diamonds, a top director trip, all expenses paid trip to London for her and her husband, Todd. We went on that one together. She is personally ranked number 7 in the National Court of Sharing for the team building in the diamond division, and was also the number 1 most improved unit in the state of Texas, which is the biggest state in the union. She has been featured in our Applause magazine in an article titled Never Give Up, and again for being recognized as our company's Miss Go Give. It's the highest honor you can receive in Mary Kay. She homeschools her 4 children, 3 girls and a boy, ages 14, 12, 10, and 8. They currently love playing soccer, baseball, horseback riding, and piano. They're super involved in their church, and they love serving the Lord. Katherine's team is working to fulfill 2 God-given assignments, building $1 million unit while completing their national area. And right now she has people that went out to get food. They're having a party at her house, and they went to get dinner, and they're coming back, and she's doing this call for us. So you can tell she deserves that go give, right? So please help me welcome future executive senior sales director, soon to be national, Katherine Ward. We are so happy to have you, Katherine, and let me spotlight you.
Thank you so much.
And so I always love introducing my consultants and my director friends to my top director girlfriends, because I just believe it's the cream of the crop. And I just really want to get to know you better as well. So thank you again for jumping on here with us tonight. And I'm just going to turn it over to you. So take it away.
Thank you, Cleta. I mean, seriously, I have to tell you, it's still, I don't know about you, but I still get overwhelmed even when someone reads all of that, because I remember very much so like it was yesterday, 18 years ago. So last month I had my 18th wedding anniversary and my 18th Mary Kay anniversary, because my husband and I came home from our honeymoon, and my best friend 7 months prior, so during the time of planning my wedding, my very best friend to this day started her own Mary Kay business, and I was the friend And I know we all hear so many Mary Kay stories, but I was the friend who said, really and truly, because we're that good of friends, that you have lost your mind to do a business like that. I even went as far to say, as no one ever succeeds at businesses like that. You certainly cannot make money. I've never known anyone to last in businesses like that. And we still laugh about it to this day because it has changed my life. And so just thank you so much for having me on. And even reading that, I think, wow, that's my life. And I just have such a heart of gratitude because someone took a chance on sticking with me, being my best friend. So for 7 long months, I went to 7 weekly events prior to COVID. Of course, we used to have these weekly events in studios or hotels or homes all the time. And I know many of us are back to some of that normalcy of what we knew before. But I was a guest at those events 7 times because she had to have a friend to go to the event. She had to have a guest. And I was that person. I learned very quickly everything about the company. And the 2 things that, certainly stood out to me over and over was the half price, of course, on the products and 50% profit, but also the priorities of God first, family second, and career third. And I just couldn't let go of that. That was very surprising to me. It certainly was very different than anything I had ever experienced, especially in my pharmaceutical world that I was in. But I told her I would never do it. Well, fast forward to when my husband and I got married. We came home from our honeymoon, and I really shocked my best friend because I told her I'm ready to get started. And she said, in what? Because I had told her for so long, I will never join you in Mary Kay. And I was very adamant about those letters, NEVER, like never, never will I do this. And so it was a shock. It still is a shock at times, the fact that I still am doing this, because I was just so pessimistic and so negative and drowning in debt. I was in the happiest place of my life being a newlywed. And I did have a great job at the time, but there were changes very quickly. And of course, when we got married, we merged our lives together, merged our bank accounts together and our incomes together. And something I love to teach on sometimes for another day is you have to face it to fix it. And if there's any area of our lives that we really need or desire or are praying for change in, that we would be willing to do the hard yards possibly of facing it to fix it, because we knew we had a lot of debt. However, we had no idea the extent. And I don't think I put that in my actual accolades of, maybe it was. We had $110,000 in credit card debt. Like sometimes I'll meet people that say, oh, we had that in school loans, and that did not include our school loans. And so the fact that I made in college, through college, out of college, I made a really good income out of college and spent way more than I made. And honestly, I'm certainly not proud of those decisions. But even though I had a great income, we had more debt than I would ever wish upon anyone. And I know you've probably heard at some point in your life, nothing changes if nothing changes. And so we just got raw and real and faced the amount, and we're going to do something to fix it. And so I started Mary Kay to get out of debt. I had one launch party, debut party, grand opening. And then my husband got accepted to a grad school program 5 hours away that we thought he might get accepted to in one more year. And he got a phone call and they said, we have one spot opening if you can come now. So we packed up our life, moved 5 hours away. I stopped my Mary Kay. And I was in my pharmaceutical job at that time. I had great income and free car and great health benefits, and everything looked great on the outside. But I'm here to, I hope, encourage you and breathe life and hope into you if you possibly have an area of your life that you might need that, because on the outside things looked great, but we were buried in debt. I had a very disrespectful boss. I traveled a ton more than I committed to when I took the position, and it just became miserable. And so my husband and I both began praying about what could I do to get out of that job. And Mary Kay was this constant thing that I just couldn't get out of my mind. So I had my debut party a year before. If you know Mary Kay terms well, because I know some of you might be in Mary Kay, brand new in Mary Kay, but I was in T7 status because I had my launch party, and now a year has gone by until May, 17 years ago. And so I still love May, which is why I'm really honored to speak to you guys and share with you tonight, because I think May matters. I think May is a month to move and to just be decisive in what it is that you want from your Mary Kay business, because I'm very convinced in all these years of working my Mary Kay business that you can finish the seminar year in a very changed place, or you can make such movement right now in your Mary Kay business that you can move so much to begin the new seminar year in such a different place with different movement in your business. And so I began praying, which I know probably many of you at times in your life or business have prayed for change, but there's possibly been an unwillingness. And I believe the only big thing that changed for me is a deep desire for change in my life, that I became willing enough to do something about it. And so I came home from a really bad day at work, and I'll never forget it, because I told my husband, I cannot shake this Mary Kay thing. I had it a year ago, my launch party. Of course, he knew that. And I couldn't get it out of my mind. What if this was the vehicle that God has given us to get out of all this debt, for me to one day be a stay-at-home mom, work from home mom? I always desired to be at home with kids, but I also am an achiever. I ran track in high school and college. I will admit, I love to win. I love to succeed. I love to excel, but I want to do it with, I know we throw around the word balance. I would say more harmony and flow in my life, because I love, and what drew me to this company is God first, then family, and then career. And being able to really keep that and live that and not just say that has always been really important and valuable in my life. And so, we were newlyweds, obviously, didn't have children or anything yet, but to look back on that time when I came home from a bad day at work, and it was bad enough to just believe that God had reminded me of all that I had thought or dreamed or seen in my short little time in Mary Kay as a guest to those 7 events, that I thought, what if this is the vehicle? And my husband said, you'll never know if you don't try. I think you should quit your job. And I was like, what? I mean, who quits their job, especially a 6-figure income job, when my husband was in grad school with 0 income coming in? I was our only income coming in. And as you now know, we had $110,000 in credit card debt. And the day I quit my job, my company car left. So we became a 1-car family. And so May 6th, 17 years ago, I did walk away from corporate America. And my husband and I had 13 cents in our checking account. It's still crazy. I get choked up even thinking about it, because of just literally walking out on faith and trusting the Lord ultimately, but that he gave me this vehicle. And it's been around so long, obviously, 59 years now, that it's like, I just trusted the process. I trusted the direction that my director led me in. I trusted that if it worked for all these other women, that it could work for me. Now, what I want to really encourage you with is that I was in a very broken place in my life. I was very discouraged and beat down by just the way that I was even spoken to by the people in the company that I worked for. I had 0 confidence. I was not this go-getter in a Mary Kay world as I might appear to be today, all these years later. So what I don't think I had going for me was this confidence and knowing this business and how to hold parties. I had certainly had no idea how to talk to people about Mary Kay, but I absolutely believed that I had a willingness to learn. I had a willingness to work, and I had a reason why. And to this day, still, anytime I have a new consultant or a very seasoned consultant, or even my offspring sales directors, that sometimes we get in a funk or we get stalled or stuck. And I really come back to those 3 things. Are you willing to learn, to shift, to change, to learn this business well, to get good at it so you can be good at it and experience the results from it of life change that not only takes place in your own life, but certainly takes place in the lives that are attached to you. And then are you willing to work? Because we've got to see the faces. The faces, I hate to say these lines, but they take you places. And so I believe that. I trusted that. And again, I saw it work for so many women. If you've been to a Mary Kay function locally in your town or with your own director, your own team, let alone a career conference or seminar, then you have certainly seen every kind of woman possible that if they can, why can't you too? And so just being willing to learn, willing to work. And then I think the most important of those three things is just having a reason why that drives you enough to do something different in your life, to create change that you started this business for. Because I know a lot of people certainly start this Mary Kay business for friendships, connections, sisterhood, the intangible things. But I bet the tangible things draw you also. And my understanding is the stats show people stay in Mary Kay because they're making money, and they leave Mary Kay if they're not making money so often. So I love the balance of the tangible, the intangible. But that was something I think I had going for me that I would ask you guys, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to work? And don't misunderstand work. I think when you learn what works, because when you do what works, this business, I believe, becomes so simple that it doesn't mean work equals a lot of time. I've always loved truly being able to learn how to work smart so that I can create the life that I want to live and truly be very involved in my family life. Date nights, family night, we have that every week for the most part. And like, Cleta said in my accolades, we love our church. We're very plugged into it. My kids are all in lots of activities. I was laughing as I was updating that, thinking soccer, 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 baseball. Yes, our life is crazy on top of homeschooling my 4 kiddos. And so just, are you willing to learn work, and do you have a reason that drives you enough? So going back to May 6th, I had 0 customers because this girl didn't follow up with the people that purchased product at her launch party a year before. I don't know what happened to those people. I was not a good beauty consultant, and I did not follow up and follow through, because there is a fortune in follow up, as I've learned over these years. So looking back on that day, I had no customers, I had no team members. I don't believe I had any confidence. I certainly didn't know what I was doing. But I called my sales director on May 6th, Friday. It was my Freedom Day. I still to this day celebrate my Freedom Day from corporate America. And my husband and I had both said, I will give Mary Kay 4 months, or I will have to go back and get a corporate job. And I just decided that day that I would never go back to corporate America again, which I think is why it's so important to just have a reason big enough that you're willing to do something about it. And stick to it, because there's something so valuable about being a finisher, not just a starter. And let's be honest, we're probably, I think most of us on this call are probably women, if not all. We can start the dishes, we can start the laundry, we can start working our Mary Kay business, we can start lots of things at all times going throughout the whole day. But how much do we really finish? And I even challenge myself today with that statement of, am I finishing what I said I started? And most importantly, am I finishing what God's assigned me to, that I simply need to be faithful and obedient to? Because He wants to use you and me to reach women across the globe with this Mary Kay opportunity as the vehicle that can create life change and breathe hope into women's lives. And so when I look back at that simple decision of May 6th to quit my job, that was on a Friday. I called my sales director after I called my mom, my own mother, who I'm very close to. She thought I lost my ever living mind. She couldn't believe that I walked away from a 6-figure income. She knew that we had debt. She didn't know the extent of it. And she knew, obviously, my husband was in grad school making 0 money. And she thought I should call my boss back and take my job back. And I said, no, I'm going to make Mary Kay work. I am becoming a sales director. And I just voiced, you guys, there is power in putting a voice, not, I'm going to try and be a red jacket. I'm going to try for a gold medal. I'm going to try and go into DIQ at the end of May. I hope to become a sales director one day. I'm guilty of that at times too, but I really think there's value and power in our words. and really what we're asking God for, to breathe belief into that. And so I said, I'm becoming a sales director with Mary Kay Cosmetics. And she was like, really? Because she knew I'd done nothing. And so it just became my language, where I said, I'm becoming a sales director. And when I called my sales director, I was like, what do I do? So you might be wondering, what did she tell me to do? And I will never forget. She said, do you know one person? And I actually said no. And I think one of the biggest things I love equipping new beauty consultants with, or even overcoming the objection with possible team members, is, but I don't know anybody. I love when people tell me, I don't know anybody, because I moved 5 hours away. Of course, we were certainly not in this virtual world of being able to work now from anywhere, any time. And so it was a local thing. So much more of it was around the kitchen table, obviously. And I didn't know anyone. I had 2 male coworkers. And when I quit that job, it was just that bad of a situation, of such disrespect as a woman, that I certainly didn't want to go back there at that time. And so my sales director said, do you know one person? I said, no. She said, are you willing? I think it's such a good word, isn't it? Are you willing to meet one person? And in my total lack of confidence, I said, yes. What do I say? And Sunday, 2 days after I quit my job, my husband and I had plugged into this new church. We were trying to find a church home. And I'm going to share this one story because I think there's such power in it. And then I'll move on to a couple tips that I would love to share with you guys. But we were in this newlywed class at church, this Bible study with newlyweds. And I'll never forget, y'all, this shows my insecurity and shyness. I was sitting next to this woman, and our husbands were standing up, talking, mingling, getting to know each other. And I could feel the awkwardness of her next to me, because if you're confident, you would say, hi, my name is Katherine. What's your name? Are you from here? You know, how long have y'all gone to this church? You would strike up conversation. No way would I have ever done that 17, 18 years ago. And I look back thinking how good God is, just in our insecurities, to just trust the process and go to work. Because this woman happened to say to me, hi, I'm Rebecca. I said, hi, I'm Katherine. And she said, are y'all new here? And I said, yes, we moved from Dallas. My husband's in grad school. And she said, do you work or stay home? Y'all, do you know how many beauty consultants are closet consultants? They're like, I'm a teacher, or I'm a pharmaceutical rep, or I'm a nurse. They never speak. I'm a beauty consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics. And just the professionalism of that. I learned right away to not ever say I sell Mary Kay, because everyone sells something, but to state our title of I'm a beauty consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics. And pause on that. I learned that because my parents have their own real estate company, and my parents would have never said I sell homes. If someone asked, what do you do for a living? They would never say I sell homes. They would say I'm a realtor, or I'm a broker. My dad's a broker. And they would state that in the professionalism of it. And so I learned that day when she asked me, do you work or do you stay home? I said, I'm actually a beauty consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics. Have you ever tried the products before? And I couldn't believe it rolled right out of my mouth, because I didn't know what I was doing, but my director equipped me, and I role played and practiced those in the mirror. I sounded crazy. I practiced on my husband. I'm like, I got to voice some of these words to become somewhat natural. And she said, I've actually never tried Mary Kay before. And our microderm abrasion had just launched. Talk about like a wow product, especially then. It's still one of my favorites. And I said, would you be willing to try our microderm abrasion? I would love your honest feedback. And she said, I would be happy to help you. Would it help if I brought friends? No. Talk about how God just fed this opportunity. She had a party with 6 people, and I literally can see the rest of my career unraveling from that one appointment with Rebecca, who I met that Sunday, 2 days after I quit my job. The attachment of people are attached to you and me, that will lead us to people that we get an opportunity to be a part of their lives. And so I'm so grateful for that day. It changed my life forever. On Monday, I was like officially going to search out a director locally to find a weekly event. I got to work. I started meeting people, which was so awkward to me. I've done that twice in my business. I've never been a warm chat. Isn't that funny? In 18 years, I can pinpoint 2 weeks of my entire career going out to meet people because I needed names. And so the other one thing that I will never forget that my sales director taught me, besides are you willing to meet one person and go out and meet those people to drum up the conversations, was 10 new and 10,000. And I look back on all that I know now about Mary Kay, and I think I could even get nervous voicing that to someone. But she said 10 new and 10,000, and you will, I feel like she said, you will never worry about a paycheck again. And so I trusted that, because what did I do? I quit my job. I had no income, and Mary Kay had to work. And my company car left me, and we needed a new car. And so I was set out to earn a new car. And so within those 22 days of May, I facialed everyone I could. I shared that I'd quit my job and I'm becoming a sales director with Mary Kay Cosmetics. I didn't know what I was doing, but the more I did it, the more the confidence began to grow. It was doing it completely afraid. It was calling my sales director constantly saying, this was amazing. This was terrible. How do I fix this? What do I do? And just that constant back and forth. I love playing basketball. It was like I would throw the ball, we'd bounce it back and forth. And that conversation, I think it's so good to take the hand of your sales director. And far too many consultants, if I can dare say this, do not take the hand of their sales director. Maybe it's because we're women and we think corporately it shows weakness to ask for help. I would have never probably asked for much help in my corporate job because I should be able to find a way and figure it out, right? But I think in Mary Kay, those who reach up, those who bother me most are the ones who become offspring sales directors or really build and grow a solid Mary Kay business. And so I tell people, please bother me, please call me, please reach out. Because I found the more that I was in communication with my sales director, the more I was tweaking those things that I had no confidence in or didn't know what to do or how to do it well. How do I maximize referrals? How do I book from bookings so that I never have to go out and meet people ever again? Right? And so those were key things that she told me. 10 new and 10,000. And I trusted that. And so I added 8 people. At that time, we had to go into DIQ or got to go into DIQ with 8 team members. And 30 was when we finished DIQ. And so I submitted DIQ. I was on target for my first free car. And 4 months later, became a sales director at a director level car. And I point that out not to applaud or pat me on the back and say, you know, way to go, Katherine. But skipping over that beauty consultant car was absolutely because of 10 new and 10,000. When we added 10 new over and over during DIQ, we finished DIQ stronger than 30, and we finished with 58,000 in production, not even knowing what I was really doing, because stars and adding new people and people becoming reds. And remember Rebecca, who I met at church? She became my first DIQ. And it's just so cool to see the ripple effect and how my decision to work, your decision to work affects people. And let's be honest, if we reverse that, my decision to not work and your decision maybe at times to not work affects people. People are attached to our dreams. And so I really take that seriously. And again, it's a reminder at times when I'm not maybe feeling like doing what I know I should be doing, or, you know, I don't have the excitement in my unit or people that are all in, just to remind myself that my decision, it's the speed of the leader, speed of the team. My decision to work affects people. And I want to affect people because my life has forever been affected. And so if you've ever prayed for change in your life or in your business or in your finances or even in your surroundings of your people that you spend time with, iron does sharpen iron. Even being in a Voxer group of all things with other top directors inspires, encourages, motivates when I'm not maybe feeling like it either, because I'd be lying if I said every top sales director just feels like the top every day. But when you surround yourself with like-minded people and when you put action to your goals and desires and trust God with the results, it turns out to be such a beautiful thing that I can promise you is worth the journey. So when I look back on all these years and looking at how in May, just making the decision to move, and what a difference it can make in your life. And I believe that when we all have that decisive time in our lives and have our reason that drives us enough, that motivates us enough to stick to it, to finish something, that it begins to really change your life and change your choices and change your family and change your finances and change you inside out. So I'm so grateful for this journey, and just pray that you guys move in May. Take yourself to a place first where you just believe differently, you pray differently, you expect differently, you speak differently, and let it make a difference in your life. So I'd be happy to go over any questions or any other few nuggets. I had a few other notes here, but would love to open it up for any questions. Or Cleta, if you have anything specific you want me to share.
Okay. I think one thing I would like you to share is you got the 8 team members in those first 20 days of the company to go DIQ. Did you get them all? Tell us about who those were and how did you get 8? I'm sure some people go, well, how did she get 8 people? So anything you'd like to share on that?
Yeah. So being close to my sales director, and I didn't know my sales director. We weren't friends or buds. I didn't know her well. In fact, when I called her and said, hey, do you remember me? I quit my job. I'm in T7 status. And she was like, yeah, I do remember you. What's going on? I said, well, I quit my job and I need to become a sales director. What do I do? And I was like, I mean, it changed my life. So the 8 people, she always taught me that you recruit best close to product. And so I literally learned how to just be bold in asking, would you be willing to be a face for me? Would you be willing to help me? And I'll tell you, as a driven personality, those were the hardest words to voice, especially in a lack of confidence place. Because it's easier for me, maybe in a more confident place, to ask for help because I know there's attachment to it of what it could be for them, even eventually, not just even as a customer with their skin, but possibly as a team member, that there's that ripple effect of my appointment with them can lead to them or people they know, and that ripple effect matters. But I did realize very quickly the impact of the product and asking people, would you be willing? Not, would you like a Mary Kay facial? I put a big X. My poor consultants, they hear this a lot because it's such a natural word to use. But I tell my consultants the word interested is a curse word in Mary Kay. Sorry to say it because I know a lot of you might say it. It's very natural to say, would you be interested in a Mary Kay facial? Would you be interested in trying out our new skin analyzer app? Would you be interested in hearing more about our Mary Kay opportunity? Would you be interested in our new charcoal mask or our new instant eye depuffer, like amazing product? No, sadly, no one's interested. And my responses when I tried that were 10 out of 10, no. Occasionally when I would test it, I might get a yes, but very rarely. When I started telling people my goal, I'm becoming a director, I quit my job. I mean, people would look at me crazy, but even to this day, if people don't make a drastic change like that, I definitely tell my consultants and teach them and equip them with the words of, would you be willing? I have a goal to facial 8 people this week. Would you be willing to give me your feedback on our products? I keep it simple. I've always kept it simple. I think less is more. I could go on and on with a long text and script. I could put in there all the freebies they're going to get. And when they have friends, they're going to get this and all those details. I keep it so simple of, I have a goal, or my goal is 8 faces by Friday. Would you be willing to be one? I need feedback on our new skin analyzer app, or I need feedback on our new blank product, whatever it might be that's new. And would you be willing to help me by being a face for me or by being a person in my poll or whatever it is? But I definitely use the word willing because people are willing to support even if they have zero interest. And that fed me, that just served me well at that time. And I've continued that over all these years because every single face that I could get in front of was an opportunity. Yes, I know. I look back and think how selfish really it was. Like, I got to become a director. I quit my job. I need money. That reason was there, but I really tried to communicate and voice it. I got the appointment for me, but at the appointment, it became all about them. And I thought if I make it about them, when I found myself trying to do that, I didn't get the appointments. But when I made it about me, they booked with me. And at the appointment, then I got to make it all about them, pampering them, sharing the products with them, sharing an opportunity that I know they would probably never dream of doing, but I would share it. And then have so many people who would ask questions. I would sign people up, you guys, at parties right there on the spot. And if they didn't, then my director taught me, and I still teach to this day, interview or do a practice interview, training call, whatever language you might use, that you do that with everybody. And again, kind of the too dumb to doubt approach that I think too many consultants, at least in my unit, I think too many consultants think, oh, they'd never do it. They told me they're not interested. They told me they'll never do Mary Kay. They love their job, or they hate their job, but they would never do Mary Kay. I mean, all those things. And my sales director said, do a training call. In fact, her exact words to me were, do a training call with everyone. And she laughed and said, okay, maybe not like your 98-year-old grandmother, but otherwise do a training call with everyone. And I got on a training call and I asked everyone at the appointment, when we closed the appointment and they took home their products, I said, would you be willing to be a training call for me for about 15 or 20 minutes any day this week with me and my sales director? Because I don't know what I'm doing and I want to learn it best. Would you be willing to help me? And y'all, I'm still surprised. My consultants still get surprised at how many people are like, sure, I can do that. I mean, occasionally they might say, are you trying to recruit me? Because I don't want to do that. And I genuinely feel like I can say, no, I'm not trying to recruit you. I need training. Or, now with consultants, I tell people all the time, thank you so much for being willing to support your consultant in doing this training call. Because I know when I was new, the hearing it over and over of how this business works just got into my pores, then that I could just remember it to best answer questions when women who do want to do this, I can equip them with the best answers that are factual and right and best for them. So there's the genuineness, absolutely, that always has mattered to me, and not trying to actually recruit people by doing these calls, but that my approach to them was genuine. So yeah, training calls are done with everyone, maybe not your 98-year-old grandmother. And from that, y'all, people would join, or if they didn't, my director, when she was doing them initially for me until I started doing them when I was in DIQ, that she would even say, thank you so much for being on. If it's not for you, maybe you know someone who you think would be great at this. And I hope you feel more informed now, to feel more confident in saying, hey, you ought to consider this Mary Kay business being a fit that maybe could be good for you too. So the ripple effect, you never know. Our job, I believe, is just like the Bible says, to be fishers of men, not catchers of men. We try to catch the people. And if we just fish enough, the Lord's going to do the catching. Or to go plant those seeds. We are scattering seeds all the time everywhere. And we don't know if they're going to root and take harvest, or if they're going to fall in rocky soil. But that's our job to determine. But if we're not planting the seeds, or we're not out fishing, then we're not reaching the people to ultimately be a part of changing lives. So that's what my director told me to do. That's how 8 people came along. And I think now, man, oh man, I am convinced more now than ever that when Mary Kay promotes, the number one reason people are joining our company today is because it fits in our lives. I speak that with passion, because especially I was pregnant 6 times in 6 years. I did have 2 miscarriages, but had 4 babies in 6 years. And I was nursing and baby and diapers. And that was my world, and my best years actually in my Mary Kay business. And I look back just thinking how truly grateful I am that today I can say how Mary Kay, I was gone more, and I would have to pack up and load up and drive to a party, be there for 2 hours, drive home, unpack, decompress. And now from here up, I can just look somewhat cute and do an appointment 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes, an hour max, and get back to the pool with my family. And so y'all, the fact that Mary Kay fits, I'm speaking again to myself. We as a company should be scattering so many more seeds and fishing for so many more women, because there are far too many women in this world who Mary Kay could benefit tangibly and intangibly.
So Maureen, she's one of our sales directors, and she said, what does your new consultant training look like? With COVID, how are you? I mean, I know that's like an hour training, but just basically, we know they need to see the faces. And so tell us a little bit about that. And like, do you encourage them to do a launch party like Facebook or Zoom or anything you'd like to share about that?
Yeah, so I know I'm going to rock some people's world in saying this, although I might encourage a handful of you. I am not on social media. And it's really been a hard decision over the last several years because for me, it just was depleting because of time. I was a time waster. I was a scroller. I will admit I had a problem. I would get on just to look at something or see a friend, and then I would get sucked in and reeled in, and I was wasting my life on social media. And then I would try to do the little here. I would try to just do my unit. I would try to use it just for business. And the Lord really spoke very specifically to me to be off social media, which was so hard because then I thought, how am I going to build a business without social media? So if I can't trust the Lord to do it all in any way possible, social media for me isn't utilized. So my new consultant process, I absolutely utilize what we're on Zoom. And I have not had an in-person party. I love being in person. I do in-person celebratory events. We do a girls' night out. We do star parties, those things for my local girls. We do monthly and quarterly in-person live, but I am still utilizing social media. I'm still utilizing being able to work virtually for all of my business. So when a new consultant starts, I schedule her launch party. I let her know it'll be about 30 to 40 minutes online. You can invite the entire world since it's online. Before it was, well, you need to make a contact list of everyone you know locally, and then we got to send out invites and wait a week or two. I'll do launch parties in 2 to 5 days from them joining because it's that fast that you can have an event. And then if they can't join, we have another event. Now, one thing that I think has served me well that I've loved tweaking, because it's still, I will admit, I was dead for the first year of COVID, not transitioning from I'm never going to be at a kitchen table, maybe ever again, was hard for me because that's what I love, knee to knee, toe to toe, face to face. So transitioning to this virtual world, I was not so good for a year. I'm loving it now because I'm realizing when I have a new consultant launch party, for example, this Thursday, I have a new consultant launch event. It looks just like an in-person party, but with no samples. No, I'm just Vanna showing the products. We sell tons of product and people even join. But one thing that I've tweaked is I tell my entire unit, I'm doing a launch party on Thursday for Sally. Grab as many guests as you can or want to, and let's pile people on. And we'll celebrate that new consultant. I'll recognize every consultant actually that's on there, and we make it a much bigger event. Because think about it, if I was having an in-person party like pre-COVID, I would have never probably had 5 or 10 or even 20 consultants all in one house with everyone's guests. That wouldn't have happened, I don't think. And so just having the opportunity to utilize technology and be, kind of like right now, being even streaming on YouTube and just all the different avenues that we have, that has been such a game changer where I'll just tell my unit, I'm doing a party on Thursday, pile as many people on. We're certainly going to recognize the new beauty consultant. I'll call all of your name out because they love recognition, just like they would come to a weekly event and get that constant recognition. I love giving it in front of their guests, in front of their people. And so that has been a big change. And then from there, we just book those next events or parties, gatherings. I'm now tweaking my words to even be a poll that I just need your feedback and a poll on how you wash your face. That's a whole new thing I'm working on right now that's really been exciting, because if I just have a poll, you have to have people for a poll, right? And so I am doing a poll of women, and I'm going to incorporate the chat because when you have more people engaged, I'm finding my sales and recruiting is higher. And the shorter my events are, if I can be 30 minutes or less, my results are higher, which I still think is so crazy, because when my parties were 1 to an hour to an hour and a half versus 2 hours or longer, the shorter my appointment, the higher my results. And the more people thought, I could do this. I have 2 hours on a Monday night or a Saturday morning. Well, if I keep my virtual appointments to 30, 40 minutes max, then I have people saying to me, you sold how much in 30 minutes on a Tuesday night from your own house? More people think I could do that. And in our world, when people say, oh, I would never do Mary Kay, the more people think I could do that. And so, oh goodness, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that?
30 minutes or less. You're doing the polls.
Oh,
And,
the poll.
yeah.
So my first poll, thank you, Cleta. I'm like, it's so new. It's not locked into my brain quite yet. But I'm polling women on, are you the person like me who was a soap and water? Can't believe I admit that. I was a soap and water girl prior to Mary Kay, or like no regimen. Or are you a basics cleanser moisturizer only girl? Or are you one who's like all into a regimen, masks, serums, peels, you love it all? Because you guys, when I do utilize, I do love, I still think it's crazy. I ignored, do I dare be that honest? I ignored the Skin Analyzer app for a long time. And then the Lord literally downloaded it very specifically and very clearly to me when I actually got off social media. And that was crazy because I'm like, an app, skin, I didn't know anything about it. Scan your face, it tells you the results, tells you the products, tells you your areas, 4 areas of your skin that could be improved upon. And I started asking people, like, what does your skincare regimen look like? You use soap and water or nothing? You just are a basic cleanser moisturizer girl, or you love it all? And my suggestion based on that app analyzer or analysis is I suggest to everyone 1 skincare set plus 1 supplement, no matter who you are. Now, I have plenty of people who are that all-in girl who's like, well, I want everything on that list, or I want this peel and this mask on top of my miracle set or repair set. But otherwise, if someone is a no skincare girl, or she's just a basic girl, and I recommend that they consider starting with, as my verbiage, 1 skincare set plus 1 supplement. Y'all, it blows my mind. I have far more customers on skincare sets within my unit than I've probably ever had in my career because of just nailing down 1 skincare set plus 1 supplement. Wouldn't you be thrilled if everyone was buying a miracle set and a charcoal mask, or a repair set and a chemical peel, or a miracle set and microdermabrasion? And then they happen to add in hydrogel eye patches because that's like on everyone's analysis. And so it just has added up where, and then in 21 days, I follow up and say, hey, it's your 21 day of using your skincare set and your supplement. I wanted to see how your skin's doing. They're loving it. And at that time, redo their analysis. I know I'm kind of probably opening up a can here on training. But what's been so cool is they download the app, I schedule the appointment, we go over their analysis, they buy the 1 skincare set plus 1 supplement or more. And rarely do they buy less or nothing, like really rarely. And then in 21 days, I follow up, have them redo their analysis. Y'all, their results on those 4 areas of their scan on low, moderate, or high on how their skin is drastically different. I've had a few people that maybe it's not as low as they would prefer. That's usually women who have more aging done to their skin. That at that time, I will recommend adding in some of those other supplements, at least 1 or 2 that were recommended on their analysis. And at that time, their budgets change, they've been paid again, or it's an opportunity for them to add in another supplement or 2 and begin getting on more skincare. Then I can open up an opportunity also on the Mirror Me. I always just have people play with the Mirror Me app as color. And it's very interesting, Cleta, when I've told people we have a color app. I make kind of no big deal about it. It's called Mirror Me. Download it when you get a sec. It's really fun. You can just scan your face or have your picture on there and just put a whole bunch of different looks on your face. You'll see some that look crazy, like, woo, I would never wear that. But you might find some you love. And if you do, just let me know and I'd be happy to get those products or answer any questions about some of the colors. Y'all, they're doing it. And then they're just sending me their order for their whole new color look. So I think I'm still amazed at the virtual, how these appointments are shorter. We can do it all from home. And again, when we are sharing these products and following it up with the training call or career chat or practice interview, then there's the ripple effect and multiplication that women believe they can do this too.
Mm. I love it. I wish it wasn't 10 till 9 because I have lots of other things I'd like you to talk about. But I do want to ask you one little thing, and then there's a couple questions here. But when you do your like QVC style party, do you actually go through the facial yourself on your face? Some people do, some don't. I've done it both ways. So you just hold it up and talk about it, kind of use similar to the flip chart, whatever you use, and just the normal skincare little party.
I don't want to dumb down, but I do my darndest to keep it so simple that anyone can do it, because I look back on me. I had no confidence. I was a soap and water on a good day girl. I mean, I didn't wash my face. I didn't wear makeup. If you can call mascara and chapstick, brand of chapstick makeup, that was me. I mean, I was low maintenance, no maintenance, didn't care about it. And so I look at that girl who had no confidence and didn't know the business, didn't know the products. And if I think, man, God can do this, you can do this, that I just want to keep it so simple. So I literally I can roll through that really fast because it's that simple. I thank the guests so much for coming on. Give me a thumbs up if you got a chance to do your Skin Analyzer app. If you didn't, feel free to download it real quick while I do a quick introduction about our company. And then they're doing that. Most people, though, have come with their thumbs up. And then I just break down the analysis of what is likely to be on the majority of their analyzers, because they're very likely to be a miracle set or a repair set with likely a charcoal or a microderm. And I just keep those supplements simple. I show the hydrogel eye patches, microderm, charcoal, miracle set, repair set. And then I touch quickly on showing a clear proof, botanicals, and naturally, and men's. So that I'm covering all the skincare lines. So they do have a broader picture of what we have, but I zoom in on miracle set, repair set, because I want them to take home one skincare set plus one supplement. And then I open it up for any questions. But while they're downloading their app, if they didn't give me a thumbs up, I start, and this is a big tweak I've done for 17 years, and I've had a lot of even nationals early on when I had 5 offspring in 5 months. There was massive, crazy growth early in my business. And I look back and I know I can pinpoint it directly to the Lord and his goodness, but it was through being very simple, I believe, in that approach of being so simple, everyone can do it. But one thing I've changed that my director always taught me is, we've always learned in our Mary Kay world, at least what I was taught, is that you do a facial and then you maybe at the end, for those who will stick around, you share the Mary Kay opportunity. And when I quit my job, I didn't have time I didn't think I had time. Like, I got to make this thing work fast. I've got 4 months. We have no money. I need a car. I quit my job. We have all this debt. And we were not going to use credit cards anymore. So I had to live on my Mary Kay income, which meant I had to sell product and build my team quickly. And so it was just this picture of, I just lost my train of thought, y'all. I hate when that happens. Does that happen to anyone else?
So you were talking about how you interview on the spot at your parties?
Yes. Thank you, Cleta. Oh my gosh. I hope I can give you all hope that you can do this too. But it was so normal to do skincare, maybe schedule a career chat for another day at a coffee shop, and then you'd schedule a color appointment. And there were all these appointments, right? And I just look back I remember thinking to myself, how can I consolidate this? Now, I did learn quickly. I actually cut out color, and I have always done color separately, because my appointments, when I was taught to do skincare and a little dash out the door and share Mary Kay opportunity if they wanted to stick around, but they didn't stick around because everyone was ready to go. And they would always buy makeup. They'd buy a lipstick or an eyeshadow or maybe mascara, and I wasn't selling skincare sets. So I cut out color. I hope this is okay to say.
Yeah.
And I flipped the script. I shared my story. I quit my job. And of course, now I share my story bullet pointed because it's so many years. But I share my story in the full marketing of our company up front. I have a captive audience. And then I do our analysis or our skincare or whatever appointment, whether you're doing skincare samples, full facials, whatever we all are doing, that I definitely let them chew on the whole business opportunity and the whole opportunity that could potentially be for them while I'm doing my analysis. And then I just close with the skincare set and supplement as my recommendation. And then I close with an A, B, or C. Absolutely sign me up. B, buy me Coke or coffee, or C, be a customer cheerleader kind of thing. So it is quick, but my sales on sets is what I think has been so amazing. And then the draw for either getting together or doing another Zoom or a training call has been so much easier to multiply.
So good. All right, there's a bunch of questions on here, or a few, but we're gonna have to table those, you guys, for another time. But we do, because she's got company over there and she got things.
I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to keep you. I'm not going to keep you long, but because I think a lot of these are, some of them, like, what advice could you give to a consultant who feels stuck trying to see new faces? And of course, I think you cover that a lot by just like, you're going to have to, if you don't have any faces at all, you have to make yourself go out and get, meet that one. What'd you say? Like, meet the one person. you know what
I mean, now I will tell you guys this. I hope that this again gives you hope. If I took your cell phone and I opened up to your contacts and I went to your aides, well, actually, what's really fun, in fact, I've done this a lot. I'll have people open up their contacts and go to the very bottom of their phone contacts, and we'll do a fun little game. Type in the chat how many contacts are in your phone, because no one has less than like 50, but most people have hundreds. And so I think as beauty consultants, if I took your phone, or if Cleta took your phone and said, have you reached out to so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, we would probably admit no. Or what I've been excited to do is go back to all those people that said, no, I'm never going to do a facial. I don't want to use Mary Kay. I don't have time for a party. But I asked them to be a part of my poll by downloading a quick app. Y'all, it's so current and it's so fast. And people I have found that are like, this app was so easy. And I've even had people say, I need everything. Can you just give it to me through a text? And then we didn't even talk. And I know these people well who said they would never give Mary Kay the time of day. So I think if we're honest with ourselves and go back to our phones and just have 10 seconds of courage and use the right words, not would you be interested? Remember, curse word.
Love it. Never saying it again.
Isn't it so funny? It's such a natural word. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I know some of you are like, oh, I do that every day.
And when I was taught, they said to say, is there any reason why you couldn't be a face model for me? Or is there any reason why I couldn't get together with you and show you some of our Mary Kay? And then they would say, if they say no, then they say yes. There's no reason why. If they say yes, and yes is yes. And so you just and in your mind, no is a yes and yes is a yes. So yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Let's see. One of the questions, how do you get the recruits active when they choose eStart? I've had 3 recruits in the past started with eStart, but they never got active. So what would you be your quick? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because I have found it was actually, I want to answer that because it was actually a struggle of mine. I have always had a strong amount of stars in my career. And I believe that's because I've always been passionate, and I am passionate of. In fact, I got to a point in my career where I started to be probably rawfully honest of, I don't know how to teach people this business without parties and product, because people would want to shortcut it and they would not want to hold parties. And I'm like, parties is where lives change. You meet people. You don't just sell product and make money. You get an opportunity to hear about their lives and how they hate their job, or they're in this marriage, or there's issues in their lives that we can plug a Mary Kay into, that, again, God uses to change our lives. And so when I think about product, having parties and having product changed everything. My director, and I applaud her and appreciate her, even though she's not a Mary Kay anymore, long ago. Y'all, she quit and went on to be an actress. It's so crazy. Wild story. Right after I became a director, she went off and did Hollywood. But It's crazy to just think of when I quit my job, she knew the amount of debt. She knew we had no money. She knew my husband was in grad school making no money. And she still recommended to me a store. And I really admire her and thank her for that, because I think it's easy as a director sometimes to think, man, I know her story. She doesn't have anything. So let's just try to get her active. And I'm a full store girl, and it changed. My husband said, you would never open up a shoe store without shoes. And you wouldn't want to open up a Mary Kay store without Mary Kay products. And so that's always been important. So if funding is truly an issue, which I have to say truly, because you're looking at a girl who had 110 grand on credit cards. And to have someone think she's not going to put more on a credit card, I did buy my store, and we closed every account, cut them up, and paid it all off in 4.5 years with my Mary Kay business. And so I'm such a believer in the product and the value of still having it to this day, because that was a struggle with COVID of everything so virtual. We're not giving product at parties in person like we obviously have. But the amount of shipping and time and cost, especially most of my events, I mean, a lot of them are virtual, but they're local people overall. If they're not, I have it in right here in my office, and I can pop it in a bubble envelope and mail it out, and it gets to them usually quicker and cheaper. And so I've loved still seeing the value of product. So if there's a funding issue, my quick answer is to get them on a launch or an event, grab as many guests as possible, and go after that one skincare set and one supplement. And almost always, they're going to have a qualified order or higher from that one event, which just begins then a customer base to grow from.
Okay. I love it. And it's funny, Katherine, you've been in 18 years and I've been in 36 years, twice as long. And it's the same. It doesn't change. 18 years from now, you will have changed things, but it'll be the same thing, because Mary Kay does not change. It's the faces, and it's having that reason why. So thank you so much. And I love that she shared that you can do it with or without Facebook. Okay. With or without, like some of you, like, I just can't do face. Can you do Zoom? I mean, you're on Zoom. Obviously you can do Zoom, and people can learn how to do Zoom at least. You do have to do something. If you're not going to get face to face, you have to do online if you want to do the other way around, right? So anyway, thank you so much for your time. I know it's 9:00, but I'm gonna let a couple of sales directors, if anybody would like to just pop on here and say something to her and thank her and just affirm her. And I will just say, you are going to make an amazing national sales director. And I know that God has led you to this far only to do greater things. You're a wonderful teacher. And when I had a feeling to call you last week, I knew, actually it was 2 weeks ago, I thought somehow I feel like she's supposed to talk to us. And I'm so glad that you agreed. And I really, really thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So if y'all would like to just unmute and pop on here to affirm her, we'll do that. And then we'll let
And
her
if
go.
I could just look as absolutely stunning and gorgeous as you after 36 years, that's still, honestly, that still blows my mind, because I've known you've been in Mary Kay a long time, but 36 years and you look 36.
Girl, thank you. You know what is funny?
Seriously.
Mary Kay came out with the repair set on the day I turned 50 at seminar. And I thought, well, thank you, Mary Kay. I mean, on my birthday, I was at seminar, and that is the day, it was July 26th that we could order it. And we had a sample. They gave it to us at seminar. And so, I do credit it to the repair set and all the years of, instead of being like, use whatever cleansers in the bathroom, maybe, to actually being on a set. My first set, like you say, was a Mary Kay set. I did not have a skincare system. I had no system. So anyway, thank you for saying that. So sweet. Okay, who else? Sayla, you want to say something?
Hey, Katherine, thank you so much for.
Hang on a second, Sayla. Let me just remove our spotlight so we can see who's talking. Okay, go ahead, Sayla.
Hey, Katherine, thank you so very much. What complete confirmation on some things I've been working on the past few days. It was powerful. You are an inspiration, an encourager, and just you have the heart of the Lord. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Sayla's one of my offspring sales directors and my BFF.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay, who else? Go ahead, Maureen.
Hey, Katherine, thank you so much for taking that question.
You totally confirmed things that I was working on and tweaking. And some of the things that you said tonight was just so beautiful. And your transparency just got right to me. It's so good to hear somebody talk just the regular, simple facts about how we're supposed to work this business. And God first, family second, career third, and making that focus. And thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I have certainly learned the importance of trusting that, because we can all get out of balance at times, and just God honors that balance when we honor him. And I'm so, so grateful to have not done it perfectly, but to see that you really can live that out, and to see my family see that, and to pass it on to other people to see that you can work out this balance, if you will, of what Mary Kay intended for it to be. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, who else wanted to say something?
I'll say
Sharon? Sharon, go ahead.
Sure. Hi. Thank you, Catherine. We loved it. And I loved your verbiage. Would you be willing? And I've heard that before, and I think I had forgotten that. And I'm going to take interested out of my vocabulary now. And it's going to be, would you be willing? And that's what I'm going to train my girls with. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sharon. Okay, anybody else? Because consultants, you feel free to unmute and say something if you want to.
I'll say something.
Okay, go ahead, Rhonda.
Thank you so much, Catherine. I suffer from paralysis of analysis. Cleta can tell you that. I sit and analyze and then end up doing nothing. But I've written down pages of notes. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So my encouragement would be to analyze your notes by reading them once, and then just ACTION, just put it to action.
True.
Exactly. Thank you, girl. Okay, anybody else? Well, of course, we've got lots of thank yous on the chat. And let me just bring you back up here for just a second. Where you at, girl? Okay. I'm gonna jump on here with you. So I just want to thank you from all of us. We have several directors on here. There's a lot of people on YouTube watching it tonight too, and I'm sure a lot will watch during the weekend. That several called me and said, "I'm going to be out of town. I want to see it." I said, "Don't worry, we got it." And of course, I'll share it with you. But I just wanted to just thank you again for taking your time. Tell your family thank you, and I just pray God will just bless you. Just over and over again for what you gave to us tonight. And so you planted a lot of seeds in all of us. And, we're just going to end tonight with what she said at the very beginning. And what she said is everybody can start something. And we all have started something because we all joined Mary Kay. But let's be a finisher. And if there's something God put on your heart that you need to finish, let's finish it. And May is not over until Tuesday night at midnight Central Standard Time. Right. And so you have some time to do a little bit of work and talk to people. And more than likely, you're going to be around new people or different people this weekend for Memorial Day. So, hey, open up your mouth and tell them about your exciting goal. And just like she said, I am becoming a Mary Kay sales director. I hope one day in the next century, I could become a director. I'm becoming a Mary Kay sales director, and I would love to borrow your face. Is there any reason why you can't help me? Or would you be willing to take a poll? Everybody likes to give their opinion. So thank you.
Everyone has an opinion.
They do. And so thank you again. Thank you for all the YouTubers. There's a bunch of people saying, hey,